This is my first video ever, so please bear with me. I'm a little nervous and a little anxious and a whole bunch of different feelings and all that. But I want to talk about my reborn or my born again experience, and I want to tell you how it happened so that in case you're going through it, um, you could try to do the same thing, I guess you could say. But it happened back in August of 2020 on the 24th, and that's when I got my vision. And it happened while I was asleep, but 3 weeks earlier, this is what led to that. I reached a point in my life where I had all these problems in my life, and I was trying to figure out like how to get better and how to do things better and how to fix things, but no matter what I was doing or what I could do, I couldn't figure it out. And then one day I was taking a shower and something told me to pray. And it was just like a feeling I got, and so I decided to pray. And I prayed this. I said, God, I know you died for me on the cross. I know you shed your blood for me. And I told him that I was a sinner, to forgive me for my sins. I told him that no matter what I could do, I couldn't fix my problems on my own anymore. It was like a desperate prayer. And I told him that the reason why I never gave my life to him complete was because I was so attached to the things of this world, you could say. Like, I was so used to going out and doing my own thing and all this and that. I didn't really want to give my all to him. But I told him, we're in the middle of a pandemic right now, so it's not like I'm hanging out with my friends anyway, so I'm gonna just give you a chance and give it a shot. And basically I just gave him my life at that point. And I went to sleep, everything was fine, not thinking anything of it. And then like about 3 weeks later, I get a dream. And for some reason I believe that I died in this dream, and God gave me a second chance. And I'll tell you why in a second. So I had this dream, but mind you, from the time that I did that prayer to the dream, I've been feeling different. Like, things been changing about me. Like out of nowhere, I quit smoking cigarettes, and like that was like one of the first things to disappear. And I had a problem with like lying and stuff like that. Like, it was weighing like really heavy on me. And but anyway, my mind just got lost for a second. So back to the dream. The first thing I noticed in my dream was that I was standing in a living room, and there was a man sitting on a lazy boy chair in front of me, to my left a little bit, and he was like staring at the television, like really like focused on the television. And he had a table in front of him with like food or whatever. I don't really know what it was. But on the TV, it was a TV show, Seinfeld. And I told him, I said, I hate this show because of how good it is, and I never seen this show before. I haven't heard anything about Seinfeld, in years or anything like that at this point. And then all of a sudden, I take my mind off of that, and then I look to the right, and I start like walking around this house that I'm in. And then after a while of walking around, I realized that I was alone. I couldn't find the guy that was sitting down or anything like that. I just found myself alone. And then, you see, I really thought I was going through this. I thought this was real. And so as I'm walking around this house, I decide that I want to go outside. You know, I want to get out of this place and this house. So I go to the front door and I try to open it, and it wouldn't open. I found that weird. So then I walked towards to the window to see if I could look outside. And I go and I look outside, and I see that it's a heavy like fog outside, and I could only make out that there's trees and bushes in front of the house that I'm in. And it wasn't dark, it wasn't sunny, it was like in the middle kind of thing. And I could only see about 4 feet in front of me from the window because the fog was so heavy I couldn't see anything else. And then I pull back for a second and I stop and I question myself. I say, like, am I dreaming? Like, am I in a dream? And then it's like 2 seconds later I get an answer, and yeah, you're dreaming. I was like, okay, so what do I do when I dream and I want to wake up? I usually, like all the time, I would jump off of a very tall building or jump through a window, and the fall would scare me enough and it would wake me up all the time. That was my escape. And so I decided that I wanted to jump out this window in this house that I was in. So I get back and I get ready and I go running towards the window, and I jump to the window and I hit it and I bounce right off, like a ball up against that you throw up against the wall, and it would bounce right off. It didn't crack, it didn't do anything, and I felt bad, you know. I felt terrible because the one thing that was gonna free me didn't free me. And so I started going a little bit crazy because I felt trapped and I felt like hopeless for a second, and I started punching the window to try to break it. And as I'm punching the window with my fist, I noticed that I could feel every time that I was hitting it. And that kind of spooked me a little bit because I've never felt anything in my dream before. And so anyway, so I realized, like, I'm stuck in this house and I can't get out. On top of that, I'm stuck in a dream and I can't wake up. So it was those two like mixed together, and it was a horrible feeling, trust me. And so I'm like going crazy and I don't know what to do, and I feel alone and hopeless and lost, and like all these feelings I'm feeling, and I feel trapped, and I can't express like how bad it felt. I'm trying to. I'll try, you know. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my body or my soul or my spirit starts to levitate towards the ceiling from my chest and up. You know, I start going up to the ceiling, and I try to push myself down, and I couldn't. Like, it's like if I would go back up again, and then all of a sudden I start to spiral in a circle, like counterclockwise. It started off slow, and then it went faster and then faster, and it was almost like it felt like an invisible tornado, because I couldn't see what was moving me. I just felt that effect from it, and I'm desperately trying to hold on, grab onto anything in the ceiling, and I can't grab a hold of nothing. And it was at this point where I realized that I died and I was on my way to hell. Like, I don't know how I knew. I just knew it, and I was terrified by it. And so as I'm turning and spinning, I'm thinking to myself, like I'm about to go to hell. Like God was showing me from the moment I was born on the way to, my 30s, that the way I was living my life was gonna send me to hell. And I knew I was about to go to this place. I was literally in the transport, like about to go there. And then I start thinking to myself, and I start telling myself, like, maybe it's not that bad, because I'm in a dream, and it might be like a dream version of hell. So I try to sugarcoat it, and no matter how I try to sugarcoat it or what I try to say to make it more comfortable, I realized that it wasn't helping the fact that I was about to go there. Like, I was still terrified. It didn't change any feeling at all. And so all of a sudden, right before I go to this place, God pulls me out of there. Like, not physically or anything. It's just all of a sudden I look down, and I'm standing before what appears to be the edge of an elevator shaft. And I was looking straight down. I was standing on the edge. There was no doors that I couldn't see. It was just an open elevator shaft going straight down. And there was windows every other floor going down. And all of a sudden, I went from feeling hopelessness and trapped to feeling hope again. I was like, oh man, this is my chance to escape. This is my chance to jump. This is my chance to get out of here. I'm like, I feel joy again, like happy, like, man, this is it. This is how I can get out. Like, I was feeling the opposite of all this before this, obviously. And so right before I decide to jump, I hesitate, because I remember when I was punching the window, how I could feel it. And I started to question myself, saying, like, man, I don't want to jump thinking that I'm in a dream, and I'm actually awake, and I kill myself thinking that I was asleep. Like, this is how real the experience felt. Like, I couldn't tell what was real or fake anymore at this point. And so I decided to jump anyway, because I tried everything else. There was no other where to go, anywhere to anything else for me to do. So I jumped anyway, because I had no other choice. And I thought, this is my chance to leave, to wake up, to get out of here. So I jump. And as I jump, I realize, as I'm falling and I'm falling and I'm falling and I'm falling, I'm not falling in such an incredible rate, like speed. It's almost as if I'm like gliding down, it felt like, because as I get closer to the bottom, I realize I'm not waking up. Then that's when it starts feeling worse, again. And all of a sudden, I reach the bottom, and I land on my feet, and it must have been like 6 to 7 stories high. And I land on my feet as if I was to be on the ground, and I would jump and land on my feet. That's how painless it felt. I didn't feel any pain. I just gently landed on the bottom. And when I reached the bottom, I can't tell you how much worse I felt, because not only was I trapped in the house and I couldn't get out, not only was I trapped in a dream and I couldn't wake up, but now I was trapped in the bottom of this shaft, this pit, this dead end. And I felt worse. I felt worse. I would much rather be trapped up there, lost in this house, than to be trapped in the bottom of this pit, this shaft. And then I'm looking around, and I see that there's no way out. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing. It's just walls and a small confined area. And then I look to my left behind me, and I notice that there's a man standing there in the corner. And I'm like, who is that? Like, what is that? And then I get closer to see his face, and I notice that it's me. and he was looking straight up with this blank stare in his face, like looking up there, like if there's hope up there. And I remember when I was up there looking down, like there's hope down there, and I just got this feeling like I'm putting my hope in the wrong places. It's just what I got from that. And it's funny because I start thinking, that the guy that was sitting on the chair, who I was talking to, that didn't pay me no mind, and he got lost. And I have a feeling that was me, who I was talking to. And the reason I didn't see him anymore is because he ended up in the bottom of this hole. That's why I felt that I was alone in this house, and I didn't know how to get out. And anyway, as I'm down there, all of a sudden this song creeps into my ear from the right side, and it goes in my head, and this is a music. And see, I don't really like music that much, but for some reason I like this one. I was enjoying it because it made me feel the opposite of everything that I was feeling. I was feeling hopelessness, left alone, cast away, forgotten, fear. Like, it made me feel the opposite of all that. I felt joy, I felt loved, I felt happy, I felt like there's hope. It just took my mind all away from everything that I was experiencing. And when I listened closely to try to make out the words, I heard two words. And in this pattern, I heard the words love, generation. And then I wake up. And I'm like, kind of like blown away first, because when I woke up, I'm like, what was that? Like, man, like, and I'm telling my wife, and I'm telling her, like, I